Hi dears, welcome back to BitFocus. As we have learned about loops in our previous video, so you can find it in channel BitFocus and playlist. If you have any questions or suggestions about our previous videos, so please feel free to put comments in channel below any video you want. So today we'll learn about functions. What are functions and how to create functions? A function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. So as its description tells us, function is a block of code. It means that you write a few lines or many lines of code, so you put it into a function. So function helps you to save time, to prevent writing code again and again. You write a block of code as titled functions once and use it again and again by calling it. When you call a function, in fact you run a function. So on that time a function is called, it is run. Otherwise, when you do not call a function, it is not run, or you cannot use a function. There are some expressions which are called parameters. Parameters in a function is very important. In fact, a function to be used with different goals or places, you must use parameters. Parameters can be, you can use one parameter or many parameters. When there are many parameters, so you should separate them with comma, and parameters are coming in parentheses after name of function. A function can return a value. Returning a value means passing a value in place where a function is called. Or in other words, when you return a value in a function, in fact you pass a value after calling a function on that place where a function is called. And there is another kind of function which is called recursive. Recursive functions are those functions which call themselves. In programming, in all programming languages, we have recursive functions because recursive functions are very useful, especially in mathematics like factorial, like Fibonacci, and many other like power, factorial, and Fibonacci value. All of them are using recursive functions in all programming languages. But here we are learning Python, so we are talking about Python. In Python also we have recursive functions. Please remember, recursive functions are those functions which call themselves. Today in this session I am using Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is also a very useful text editor. You can use it. It is optional. Either you use Visual Studio Code or PyCharm or Python shell as we have used in our previous videos. So today we are using Visual Studio Code, and now we should first we should create a new file. And now it is our new file, and I rename it with func2 func2.py. Please remember the extension of file in Python is py, and I save it here in this path. Now our file is created, and now we should start creating a function. How to create functions in Python? In Python we are creating functions with def. Def means define, and after that function name. What is the name of this function? For example, we name it greeting. Greeting is the name of the function, and parentheses are mandatory. But in other programming languages, for example in C++, Java, we have brackets like this. Please remember, in Python we do not have this. In Python we have colon. So colon means a pair of brackets in other programming languages. Now indentation is very important in Python. Please remember, it is a space. If you do not specify it correctly, it gives you error. Okay, now hello, we put a message here. So it is a function. It is very easy, because I should start our example with an easy function, and now it is a function, but it doesn't print the message as long as you call it first, and we should put to enter. After that we call it here. How to call a function? Calling a function is very easy. First, name of function, and then a pair of parentheses. Now it is called. And how to run this file? You can use CMD or PowerShell in Python, or in other operating systems like Linux or Mac. You can use terminal. But first, if you are not in that folder or directory, please go to in that directory first, because now I'm already in this directory, so I do not need to go in that. And how to run this file? It is very easy. I have talked about in our first videos. You can find first write Python and then the name of the file. What is the name of the file? The name of the file is func2 dot extension py. You see now our function is called, and now the message is printing here, the message is displaying here. You can call this function many times. For example, I call it again. You can call it as many times as you want, and come here again. We should again run the file python func2.py. You see three lines with the same message. Why? Because we have called our function 3 times. We have called our function 3 times here. Okay, it is the first example with the first very easy function, but I put all of them in comment here. We have also parameters in function. What are parameters? Parameters are those values which are passed when we call our function. Please remember, when we call our functions, we pass parameters. What are parameters? Parameters make our function dynamic. So parameters make our function more useful, because here we only have a message, so we do not need a parameter here. Parameters. So again, I create a new function, def function name sum. We want to sum 2 values, v1 v2. So v1 comma v2, these are parameters. Why 2 parameters, not more or not less? Because we want to add or sum 2 values, not more than 2. Please remember. And again, instead of a pair of brackets, we put a colon here. So v1 plus v2. But here another term is coming, as I've talked previously. What is that? It is returning value. Returning a value means passing a value whenever it is called. Please remember, in Python or in other programming languages, we have return. Return, it is an expression which is used to pass a value whenever it is called. Return v1 plus v2. So it returns the result or the output after calling this. Now it is enough. again. So please put one enter here empty, one blank enter, and after that call this function sum. You see here sum v1 is bolted here. Why? Because it means that put the first value for the first parameter, for example 2, and now you see the second parameter is bolted. It means put the second value 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So now come here and we should call run this file, python func2.py. Sorry, but why you do not see any value here 5? Because it is returned, but it is not printed. Please remember, it is returned. It means 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 is here now. 5 is post here, but it is waiting to be printed. Now we should print. Now we have printed, and now it will be yes. Now you see the 5 is printed here. Okay, and you can add something like some message here to make it more clear, more specific. For example, the result is. Now it would be better. You see the result is 5. Okay, and again you can call it again. I copy it and paste it here, but I change the value 23.5. It means that we can also pass float type. We can pass values of float type also. You see 3.5 is float and 20 is integer. So now we can also see the result. It is called twice, so the result also would be here twice. Python func2.py. Please remember. You see the first result is from the first, which we have seen already, but the result, the second line, 23.5, because 20 plus 23.5 is 23.5. So nice, you have understood that what are parameters. Okay, and now we put again into command and make or create another function. Another function which is very important is default parameter. What is default parameter? Sometimes we may need to put default parameters in a function. What are default parameters? Default parameters are those parameters which are default or which are already existing. If we do not put other parameters, or if you do not use other parameters, the default parameter is always coming or always printing here. So how? Def in this time I use minus make minus. It is the name of the function. It is optional. You can rename it as you want on your demand. Any name you want you can use for function. So value 1, or you can say BC. So you see it is default parameter. Why? Because it has a value, and these to B and C are not default parameters. You should put values whenever you call a function, or you should assign them values whenever you call a function, but for this we do not need. It is default. Okay, and now return b minus c plus a plus a. Okay, and now we can call it make minus. You see a equals 2 is shown here, means it is a default parameter. B and C are these parameters which we should assign them values. So how? 10, 12 and 2. We should first try it. Python but there is an error here. What does it mean? It non-default argument follows default argument. It means, so it shows that we should not assign values for default parameters. So how? And now we can check it here. Again, non-default argument follows default parameters. Okay, sorry. It shows that we should not put non-default parameters after default parameters. It means that first we should put our non-default parameters and after that our default parameters. So, okay, and paste it here. This comma should be removed. So now we should see. Now it is correct, but it's not printed here. Why? Because we haven't printed it, only we have returned the value. Okay, so again I put it here, print the result of minus. Now you can understand. You see the minus is 12. Why? How? 12 minus 2 is 10. 12 minus 2 is 10. So 10 plus 2, 10 plus 2 is again 12. How? First it is 12. B is 12. B is 12. C is 2. It is C. C is 2. 12 minus 2 is 10. 10 plus 2, because A is 2. Again it becomes 12. But how if we change our default? Now how? Okay, have you understood? I hope you have understood. It means that whenever you do not give a new value for the default parameter, so it takes its own value, or we should say in other words, if we do not assign a new value for default parameter, default is default, but now you have given a new value, or you have assigned a new value for default parameter, so it is replaced. 2 is replaced by the new value. So B is 12. 12 minus 2, because C is 2. 12 minus 2 is 10. So here is 10. 10 plus A. A is 10 now, because we have assigned a new value. 10 plus 10 is 12. So hope you have understood. And that's why now you see 12 is here. So it is all about functions for today. I hope you have understood. Please try not to forget to subscribe to our channel BitFocus to get benefit from our new videos. Thank you.